getting ready to start. Thanks, guys. This is the behind the scenes of Today with Pastor Jay. And of course, I have Bill Butler here. We're going to be talking about fantasy lights. So I don't even know how many times I've done this show. At least 8 times.
I don't know. It's been a while. Yeah.
Yeah, but we're going to try to make this one nice and fresh.
All right.
You are now tuned in to Today with Pastor Jay on WNZF News Radio, where we discuss inspiring and informative news. And now here's your host, Pastor Geraldine Denny.
Good morning, rise and shine. It's a brand new day, and you're tuned in to Today with Pastor Jay. I'm your host, Pastor Geraldine Denny, bringing you hope, faith, and real conversations to start your Sunday off right. Today, we're shining a light, literally and figuratively, on one of Flagler County's most beloved community traditions, the Fantasy Lights Festival, celebrating its 20th anniversary this year. Hosted by the Rotary Club of Flagler County, this dazzling display of lights and service has become a symbol of joy, generosity, and togetherness during the holiday season. So joining me today is Bill Butler, longtime Rotary member and co-chair of the Fantasy Lights Festival. We'll talk about how this event came about. You know, we were just saying before we got on the air, it's been several years since you've been on the show. But I know there's something that people don't know, and people still don't know about Fantasy Lights. We have a lot of people moving here. So let me ask, for those who don't know and that are new here, tell us how the Fantasy Lights Festival began and what inspired it 20 years ago. It's been 20 years, Bill.
Yes, it has. Yeah. Thanks for having me on the show this morning. It began. I guess the seeds were planted back in late 1990s, like 1997. We used to live in Evansville, Indiana, and since we moved here in '79, we go back to Evansville for the holidays sometimes to see family, and we'd gone back that winter in '97, and when we were there, our friend said, "Oh, you have to go see this light show that's in one of the parks." And I said, "Okay, well, give us something to do." And so we loaded up into our van and drove to the park, and it was a drive-through event, and they had just, oh gosh, must have had 100 animated displays. And it was neat because most light shows aren't animated. And this had a lot of animation to it. And my two daughters were with me and my wife. And my youngest daughter, Tiffany, was so impressed with it. We took our VCR camera.
The big old VCR.
Yes, and we videotaped it as we were driving through. And when we got home, my youngest Tiffany, she just watched that every day. She just loved that thing. And she said, "Dad, you got to bring this to Palm Coast sometime." And well, back about that time, I wasn't a member of the Rotary. Palm Coast wasn't that big. And I said, "Honey, it's just not time yet, because, we need to get a bigger city and more sponsors available to sponsor all these displays. But we'll do it." So, time passed on. I joined the Rotary Club in 2003, and unfortunately, my daughter passed away in 2002. And I was sitting at a Rotary meeting in 2005, I guess it was, and they were talking at the meeting about our fundraisers, and we do a golf tournament every year. And people say, "Oh, this is really getting kind of stale. What else can we do?" And I felt this little finger tapping me on the shoulder, saying, "Dad, it's time."
It's time.
And
And that's a story that you kept with you for 20 years. Do you still have the VCR tape? I'm just curious.
I don't know if we have that original tape. We digitized some of them, so we might still have it.
Wow.
Yeah. So, so I floated the idea to the club, and it was received with mixed reactions. Some of the club members said, "Oh, we'll never be able to do this. Who can afford to buy these displays?" And, so forth and so on. And other people said, "Well, yeah, it might go." And I explained that, Easter Seals put this on up in Evansville, and it's tried and true. It will work. And I knew how to get it going. And finally, the president of the club at the time, Mike Beadle, he said, "Well, listen, if he thinks he can do it, let him try." So that was in September, okay? And I thought, I've got to get at least, a few displays sold in order to make this work the first year. If we don't get that many, we'll just have to push it off to the next year. So I went out on Tiffany's birthday, September 13th. I went to my first client to try to sell the display. And I'm thinking as I went out there, like, gosh, what questions are they going to ask? How many years have you been doing this? Well, this is the first year. How many displays do you have? Well, you'd be the first one, sir. And I'm thinking, this is going to go south quick, but we had to try. So I started my spiel with Klein Construction, and got halfway through my speech. I wasn't even done yet. And he looked through the catalog and said, listen, I'll take that Old Man Winter display. It was a $10,000 display.
Oh, wow.
And I thought, wow, that's fantastic. And then I left there and I went to Austin Outdoor, which at the time is now Yellowstone. And same speech, didn't even get my speech out. And they said, I'll take that beer in the honey pot, which was one of Tiffany's favorite displays at that Evansville show. And I thought, this is fantastic. We got 2 signature displays to go. And by December, I had 16 sold.
Wow.
So that was a good start. We did the drive-through at Indian Trail Sports Complex and charged $5 admission to come in. And we're off and running.
Rotary's motto is service above self. How does this festival embody that principle for you personally?
Well, it's a big part of my life. I tell people in Rotary that when you join, you have to have a passion, and you can apply that passion to anything you want in Rotary. And, we don't all have the same passions, and it's a good thing because it diversifies the club and gives us more balance. So, this is my passion, and not many people can do what I do because of the time concerned. I'm retired now, but I did this when I was still working. But sometimes I wonder how I ever did this while I was still working. But it's not just a 1-month event. This is 12 months of the year. I'm doing something, and we all are doing something. Right. And to keep this thing going and making it grow and getting more displays every year and trying to raise more money for our charitable donations. That's one of the main drivers of this. It does cost us some money to put this on, but profit income, once it balances out, we generally earn about $30,000 a year for this.
That's wonderful.
Which is a lot of money, but for a whole month, it's a lot of work.
It is a lot of work.
It's not like a golf tournament. You can make $12,000 in one day.
Right.
So.
Well, it's easy to look at the lights and see the beauty, but there's so much work behind the scenes. What goes into putting this together each year? You said this is a year-round thing. So what goes into putting this together?
Well, we formed some committees and tried to divvy up the responsibilities and give each group in the committee something to do. And I've kind of managed the whole thing. My longtime co-chair, Mike Kuipers, unfortunately had to move away. His choice, and I don't I don't fault him for that. But he had other things. He wanted to live up in North Carolina. So I'm kind of on my own now. We picked up Charles Barbell. He's in our club. And he is my co-chair now. And he isn't as free with his time because he still works real estate, but he is my second in command. If anything, should happen, he can help me out. So we do that. And then we have meetings every couple of weeks beginning in October. And, we get things handled.
After 20 years, does it feel like you're pulling teeth?
Not as much as before. I
Okay.
think we're getting more and more of a buy-in. People understand what this does for the community. And since this is really our only fundraiser, we do little things, but we don't do the golf tournament anymore. This is our biggie. So we tell people when they join our club, you are on this committee.
Everyone's on the committee.
Yeah, and I try not to put a round peg in a small hole or a square hole because, if you force somebody to do something they're not really wanting to do, they're not going to do it or they're not going to do a good job. So I ask them to tell me what you like to do, and we try to position people with their expertise in doing that. If you know anything about electricity or hooking circuits, you can work with the lighting, or stage production. We have performing groups that come quite a few nights of the year, and so they need to set up the sound system, the amps and all that. So we do that as well. So that's kind of what we're doing.
So the Fantasy Lights Festival has become a Flagler County tradition. What do you think has kept it alive for 20 years? A lot of things have gone away. I've seen different things try to start up here in Flagler, and then it dissipates after a couple of years. What do you think has kept it alive for 20 years?
Well, I think it's the biggest thing that's being done in the holidays in Palm Coast. We have the Christmas parade, Starlight Parade, but until we came along, that was it. They don't really decorate the streets up that much with lights like some of the cities do, but we do have a good support from the city of Palm Coast. They know what this is all about and what it means to Rotary and myself, and some people think this is a city event, but it's not. But they are one of our participating sponsors, and we couldn't do it without them. The perfect site for it. We've got the electricity out there. We've got the PA system. We've got the beautiful lake that the displays are arranged around. And if you go out at night on a calm night, that lake is like mirrors, and the displays reflect off of there, and it's just beautiful. But that, and then from the business side of it, it's sustainable, because when you do something like this, it has to be sustainable. So what happens when these displays get 20 years old like they are now, and the animation boxes start to go, or frames start rusting and all that? We provided for that, because all the sponsors of the display contribute an annual fee of $300. It's a sponsorship maintenance fee, and that goes into a separate account that is used to refurbished displays. Pastor Jay has a display out there, and it was just recently refurbished this year.
Oh, I'm looking forward to seeing it.
It's beautiful. We went from 12 volt to 24 volt. They're all LED lights. The framework was sandblasted, repainted, new wires, new bulbs, new animation boxes. It's a dog washing display.
I'm about to say, I believe it's a dog washing display.
So it's near the end of the event as you're going counterclockwise around the event.
Did you move it?
No, it's the next to the last one before the waving fireman.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
So look for it when you go out there. That's her display, and we appreciate her having that.
After 2 decades, I know you have tons of stories, but there must be one story or moment that still moves you when you think about the impact of Fantasy Lights.
And there's some strange stories, to tell you the truth, and I just love telling them, because it's magical out there. I don't care what anybody says. It is magical. And one of them was kind of interesting. After we've done our setup, on the weekend of setup, the following week is just to do fine tuning and bulb checks, and anything needs to be done before opening night on that Saturday. So I was out there late on a Friday night, and we were testing the bulbs, replacing ones that weren't working. And one by one, my volunteers said, "I got to go, sorry," and they left. So about 9:30, I'm out there. It's pitch black. Nobody there but me. Not a soul, not even anybody walking around the park. And I'm on this tall step ladder, and I'm at the nativity scene. And I'm on this tall ladder, and it's kind of shaking, and there's a bulb up in the nativity star, and it was out. I thought, I got to get this replaced. So I was just kind of reaching for it, and the ladder's kind of wiggling. And all of a sudden, I hear from down below, "Hey, you need any help with that?" And I looked down, there's a guy down there. And I said, "Yeah, sure. If you want to hold the ladder for me while I get this bulb." He said, "Sure, no problem." So I'm changing the bulb, and he says, "You realize I'm a priest?" I thought, oh, that's just amazing that a priest would show up like this, And so I did that, and I came down the ladder and got my bag, and I was going to thank him. And I turned around. He was gone.
Oh, my goodness.
He was nowhere to be seen. I swear. You can see quite a ways
right, of course,
from that thing around that lake. It gives me chills to tell that story.
That was your angel. That was your priest.
It was an angel.
That's right. All right, guys. Well, you're listening to Today with Pastor Jay on WNZF News Radio. This program was made possible by our partners, Great Eagle Strategies, Gerald Ministries, Church on the Rock, and Judah One Aviation. Stay tuned. We have more with Bill Butler from the Rotary Club of Flagler County right after the break. He's like, okay, yeah, we can talk about.
It's kind of neat, because this candy cane has kind of a religious background. With your show, I think your listeners could really appreciate what we're doing here.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. I reformatted my show in June to be more faith-focused. So it doesn't matter what we're talking about. I'm always bringing. Have you noticed that, Mark? Refocused. It was always somewhat faith-focused, but it's like over the top now. So
yeah,
so we're good.
Great.
Okay, so this part we're going to be talking about faith, family, and community in action. And then before we close out, we're going to talk about what's new.
Okay.
No, you know what? Let's talk about what's new first, and then we can talk about the faith focus at the end. That way we can end with that. All right, how much time do I have so I can...
11.
Okay. Ooh, I love Christmas time, and I'm so excited that I have Bill Butler from the Rotary Club of Flagler County, talking about fantasy lights. And after 20 years, 2 decades of fantasy lights, there's got to be something new going on. What's new this year? Now, I have a refurbished display, so I'm very excited about the refurbished display so I can go and see it. My mom, I've got to take her to go see it. She loves it.
I remember taking her around the golf
cart.
cart.
Oh, my goodness. The golf cart is such a touch, and I just want to let everyone know that if you have some type of physical disabilities, there are golf carts to help you go around. It's in town center, so you can go around, see all the light displays, drink some hot cocoa, or whatever the case may be, and enjoy yourself. So don't let physical disabilities stop you. Go out there and enjoy yourself. But there's got to be something new and exciting after 2 decades. What you got, Bill?
Well, we always try to get something new. We're always trying to get more displays. But this year, we're enhancing our Santa's Village a little more. And last year, we had the 3 singing Christmas trees. And they're little LED lighted things. And they sing and they carry on a conversation among each other. And it's really cool. Well, the addition we have to that now is a candy cane. Trinity Presbyterian Church wanted to get a candy cane out there. And so we have a 7-foot candy cane that kind of animates with the swirl and the red and the white. And there's a story behind the candy cane. Did you know that, Pastor Jay? History?
Tell me the story of the candy cane.
I won't, because you have to come out and listen and find out.
Okay. There is a story about
the 3 Christmas trees.
about the red and the white. Yeah.
One of them's going to say, "Hey, what's this candy cane next to us?" And
I do know the story. I thought we were going to share it, but we want everyone to go out there so they can hear it.
Exactly. And so they will tell the story of the candy cane. So they'll have a kind of a banter among the 3 of them telling this story.
Oh, that's nice.
Yes. And so then the other new addition is an angel wing. We had a painted angel wing thing before where you get your picture and it looks like you have angel wings.
Correct.
And the board was getting kind of deteriorated and we needed to spruce it up. So now we have a lit angel wing board.
Wow.
It has white and gold bulbs and it radiates out from the base. So it just looks majestic.
Oh, my goodness.
And then when you take your picture, sometimes, it's not hard. You don't have really good lighting to see the face. You see the wings.
Correct.
So we got one of these things that the influencers have, the little round lights, and we've mounted them above the head of the person standing there. So it looks like a halo.
Oh,
and it perfectly lights up their
that.
face.
Oh, that's going to be awesome. I'm so excited. So all this is in Santa's Village?
That's right. Yeah, where the train is. We have a couple of food trucks in there selling hot chocolate and marshmallows and other treats and things. So, and then we have the 8 Santa houses in there, the little houses that the kids can run in and out of, and they're all decorated up and lit. And then, of course, Santa's house is in there as well. So Santa comes every Sunday until Christmas.
Are we going to have snow this year?
Oh, yes. We always have snow on certain nights. So we have a snowmaking machine that blows that snow out, and it looks like the real thing.
You always involved the youth at both high schools to come out and to help.
Right.
Are they going to be assisting again this year?
Yes.
And how do you, when you look at youth, they're always looking for a purpose. What advice would you give them about finding meaning through service when you think about Rotary? What kind of advice would you give to the youth?
Well, I spoke to the Interact Club at Flagler Palm Coast High School yesterday, and I passed out the bulletin here, the program, and they read the story behind the lights, why we did this. And she said to me, I like the purpose. I like what this does for the community, So coming from a student, they're getting it, and I think that was pretty powerful. But we're going to have them out there. We'll have the K kids from Kiwanis are going to help out. We've got the ROTC group from FPC. We've got the student athletes from the sports teams from both Matanzas and Flagler Palm Coast. So they're kind of our brawn and muscles. Some of us older guys have a hard time lifting those heavy pipes and displays. So they help us unload the trailer and take them where they go around the lake. And some of them still volunteer on certain nights to do the train or they greet people at the entrance.
How important is it to you to pass the value of service above self to the next generation? We see our youth today, they get involved in so many things. In fact, my granddaughter, she's 10, and all she wants to do is be on her phone all day talking to her girlfriend. How do you pass these values on and the importance of service above self to these youth and get them out of their devices where they can go out and interact with people and have a good time?
Yeah, I think if they're out there working the lights, they can see the smiles on the kids' faces, and just see the joy it's bringing to the community. Not only but the kids, but the adults as well. I'll have adults walking around there singing the Days of Christmas, or they'll bring their little ones out, and every year they'll take a picture in front of the Days of Christmas. Like if they're 1 year old, get a picture in front of the first day, and then bring them back next year, picture from the second day.
Oh, I love that.
So, it's forming traditions that way with the entire family. So it is kind of family based, and I think the kids enjoy seeing that. They get into it. They'll put their elf outfits on, and they'll help Santa, or they'll sell tickets at the train station or something. And it's really nice having them out there taking up that responsibility, of operating this event.
All right, guys, we got to take another break. Don't go anywhere. Ew, I love Christmas. I love the bells. You're listening to Today with Pastor Jay.
Music on now.
Oh,
and
wow.
all these other things too.
Wow. I've got 2-3
Oh,
minutes.
guess what? Did you know we're having a live remote from WNZF on our 20th anniversary
I did
night?
not know. That's
And-
wonderful.
And
what day is
Laura
that
Z's going to do it.
What
for
day
us.
is that going to
The
be?
20th.
The 20th. Okay.
Yeah, I just want to mention that too.
Okay, we'll mention that when we come back in. I'm going to talk a little bit about faith, and then I'm going to have you mention that, and then we'll close out.
Okay. Yeah, we'll give WNZF a plug then for that.
Okay. All right, you ready? Welcome back. And I'm just so excited about what's going on the 20th anniversary of the Fantasy Lights. And Bill, as someone deeply involved with Rotary and community outreach, how do you see faith and service coming together during this event?
Well, it's not about the money sometimes. You think this is a fundraiser, but I tell people it's more important that we give back to the community to bring joy and cheer to everybody this time of year, and just forget our problems and our differences, and
Right.
just enjoy the season. And that's the biggest thing I would have them take away from this.
Because Jesus definitely is the reason for the season. And I know you've got some other stuff coming up. You were telling me during the break that WNZF is going to be out there.
Correct. We're having our biggest 20th anniversary celebration night on December 20th. So you don't have to remember it's easy to remember what night it is. And we're going to have food trucks out there. We're going to have a presentation at 6:30 talking about different things with our history, and dignitaries from the city will be there. And it's just going to be a wonderful night out there to celebrate and give thanks back to the community for making this event one of the best events in Northeast Florida.
Well, thank you for your passion and for all that you do, Bill. Thank you for joining us today. And for all of you and your team at the Rotary Club, what you do to make the holidays brighter for so many. The Fantasy Lights Festival is more than a beautiful display. It's a reflection of what happens when people work together in love and service to others. And what's the opening night?
It's November 29th.
November 29th. All right, guys. To our listeners, remember, God's word says in Matthew 5:16, let your light so shine before men. This season, may we each be a light that points others back to him. So I'll leave you with this today. Yesterday's gone. Tomorrow isn't promised. What are you going to do today? Today, you're going to be that light. Until next time, you are listening to Today with Pastor Jay. Have a great and blessed day.